By the way, everybody, looks like Matt just took us live.
Oh.
I'm just setting the expected moves on the Qs and the SPY. So I just got done doing the SPY. Q's upper end of the range for today, they've got at 352.78. So I'm just gonna get these in here. They're helpful when
352. Would you say 78?
352.78.
Okay.
And the lower end is 345.62. And that's a big range, and that's probably because of all of the tech earnings, right? So
Yeah. Tech earnings, Fed tomorrow. So
I was watching that Druckenmiller interview with
at the Robinhood thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to listen to those guys speak and what their big picture view is. What I find so interesting about that is so many people get fixated on what they have to say, but the difference is those guys trade in a different way. So people try to take away their information to apply to their trades.
That's what everybody, whatever. The riffraff look for buy sell signals out of everything.
Yeah, I mean, and there's you can't trade like those guys. They're not, those guys are moving billions. You're moving hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, but you're not doing anything close to these guys, right?
Yeah, no, that's the last thing out of everything you can take away from those conversations that they have. The last thing is what they're actually looking for. A trade. It's just a great. I like listening to them. You get a decent insight from people, probably the smartest guys on the street, and a lot of the times, like most recently with Druckenmiller, especially, you're talking about the sharpest guy on the street, right? I mean, 9 out of 10 people would admit that. But just how he's having a difficult time getting a grasp on everything going on out there. And it's a big wake-up call to everybody, especially some of the newer traders who think they can get a handle on the macro backdrop when guys like Druckenmiller are lost in space.
I just think it's even if you do have a handle on it, it's really difficult to make actionable unless you're playing
100%. Well said. I'll give you an example. Perfect example, right? And the trolls are even trolling Druckenmiller. Can you imagine, even the troll Druckenmiller? This is the age we live in these days. But his thesis, right, is basically just big picture wise. He thinks because we're coming out of a boom where the Fed had printed and rigged the game and all blah, 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 right? Yep. Where what's likely to happen, what should happen, is we go through a period, a lengthy period, could be 10 years, right? Where the market net doesn't really do a whole lot at the index level. Okay, so that's his thesis, is that you went from a bull market where the Fed was very loose, and now as they attempt to unwind it, you're going to go through a period where the returns on an average over the past 5 to 10 years are going to be flattish, right? So It's funny how you got the perma bears take that as market crash for some reason. And, the bulls here, and I didn't think the bulls would take anything bullish away from that, but what they're complaining about is that he owned NVIDIA, right? So he's got longs and shorts, basically. Right? That's what he's doing. If that's your outlook in the future, you're looking at a flattish market. You manage money, your own money, like a hedge fund, like Druckenmiller does. You can have longs and shorts and hope they outperform each other, right? That's the line. So the trolls are trolling him that he's long NVIDIA and made money on NVIDIA while he's telling everybody that the market's not going to do anything. Can you imagine? Like that? That's what they're trolling. In other words, they're saying he's talking out both sides of the mouth. He's spooking retail, but he owns names like NVIDIA and making money.
Right.
Where, that's they just take what they want from it. So, but yeah, you're right. They look for an actionable trade out of it, and you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it for yourself.
And speaking of which, any of that information right now, like if you look at what's going on with NVIDIA, NVIDIA's indicated to open down on bad China news, right? That's an economic impact. That's a trading partner issue, right? So That looks nasty. Tesla looks nasty this morning.
Yep.
You got a
Yeah,
bunch of
and that was his trade off the list. So I didn't really did he? I didn't hear the whole interview. Did he list names that he's in or no?
he didn't list any names. It was more topical. It was more broad.
Yeah. Because I didn't hear any names from what.
And he's talking about how he likes fat pitches and he doesn't see a fat pitch. So the guy's probably not very active right now.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. That was basically his takeaway, that he's not looking for anything special at the as far as the index level is concerned, net over time, and he doesn't see a fat pitch. The riffraff extrapolated that into, oh, he's very cautious and bearish. He scared us, but he's buying names like Nvidia and making money. You know, just trolls are going to be trolled. But that's what I find interesting. Anyhow, it's just I like to hear from the sharpest guys on the street how they see things. Doesn't mean they're going to be right. Drunken Miller will tell you himself he's wrong plenty of times. You know.
Oh, for sure. Everybody's wrong at times.
Yeah, and I think it's a wake-up call, even to us who've been in the game for years now. You know, when again the sharpest guy on the street is humble enough to tell you how many times he loses. He's bashful about telling you about any winners, and he's not ashamed to tell you that when things are complicated. You don't see a fat pitch. That's a wake-up call for everybody out there who's got a chip on their shoulder and think they can do otherwise, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what I take away from those conversations. Is that Lucci dancing around in the background, or am I hearing a?
Good morning, you bitches.
You hear that, Ronchero?
Yeah, I think you got a lot of background noise going, Luch.
Really?
Is Lucci here?
Yeah, like you're like we can barely hear your voice, but we can hear just tons of background noise.
Yeah, I don't even hear Lucci. I just hear like things rustling around.
All right. Well, give me a second here. I'll mute myself and then try to figure out my audio.
Yeah, I thought that was the voice of God Nico in the background trying to chime in. I didn't even know it was Luch. All right, so we got a busy schedule. I posted, I don't know if my screen showing or you got the screen, Ronchero. I posted in the room. I'll repost it so the guys on YouTube and the rest can see the calendar for today. Again, you got a busy week this week. AMD earnings after the bell, right? Today.
Yep.
You got the Fed tomorrow. Obviously, that's the big one. And then you got Apple on Thursday following that. So there are so many different scenarios at play here for the overall market, for the crowded Magnificent Seven, which some look like Ronchero mentioned, like shit the last couple weeks. So you got a lot of different ways this can go. And do you have a lean right now, or you're kind of looking to react to how things shake out, Ronchero?
I mean, it's Wednesday's a coin toss, and then you've got Apple on Thursday. As of right now, I'm looking at Tesla. Nvidia is catching some heat right now at a spot where it looks like it wants to roll over. I would prefer to be a long-only trader like you, and it's just simply not possible to do in the current environment. Simply not possible. So SPY right now looks okay, but individual names on a one-off basis. Tesla I'm looking to short this thing this morning. And I was playing with it yesterday, and it had crazy action on it in the form of what I perceived to be, bad prints. I mean, if you look at this chart, look at all these freaking spikes. Like,
yeah. Did we get any answers? Anybody find out what the hell that was about? Legitimately?
No, it's I don't necessarily care, other than I don't want to get caught in it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's first and foremost. That's pretty crazy. There were a good amount of names that were experiencing that too.
Yeah.
All right, let me take this again here. Does that sound better?
No, not at all.
Man.
I don't know what happened between yesterday and today.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ronchero could obviously hear you better. I barely hear you.
Okay, what about now?
Nah, you sound like you're in a closet under, in a box under a cup.
Jeez, that's crazy. Okay, all right, let me keep trying.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a mic issue. Definitely sounds bad. I mean, what are the YouTube guys saying? Sounds bad? Is it just us or?
Yeah, they're having a hard time hearing it too.
Yeah, muffled. Exactly. He's coming low on mine.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, guys,
yeah, Tesla does look sick. And what I find fascinating about these names, and it's usually how this resolves when these things are crowded as they are. They can go from it looks a lot better to they look sick looking in a matter of a week, right? That's how
right.
quick the sentiment can change in these things.
Yeah. I mean, my and obviously my P&L looks sick. So we had that
My P&L looks sick, he says.
So we're
you
trying
haven't
to
really done much. You didn't yesterday. We were trying. You didn't.
No,
What did you play yesterday? Did you play much yesterday?
I was poking around yesterday. I was, you know what I mean? I was in and out. So that's what happens. Like, there's some asshats in the room right now talking about how the account is not growing. That's fucking obvious. And you see what happens. So you put your trades up there and you put your P&L up there. Otherwise, shut your fat fucking face and we'll go about, rebuilding this again. And that's how it works. That's trading. So there's some up, there's some down. I'm looking to get back on track. So how do you do that? You don't do that by coming out here and slapping down 100 lots. You come back out here and you rebuild your your exit, your entry, your exit, and you start with smaller size. And when you get back into your groove, you start coming back with 100 lots. That's how it goes. So that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking at this NVIDIA and this Tesla, and they look weak. And I think that these guys are coming in more. So I tried messing around with Boeing yesterday. Boeing was strong yesterday. It had crazy action, and then it caught an upgrade this morning. So
an upgrade this morning. Jesus Christ! We'll see what that does for today. Yeah, these out of favor cyclical names actually caught a bid yesterday, well overdue. We'll see if there's any follow through. I'll believe it when I see it. Any follow through in these names, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Again, we could see rotation. We could see a lot of the people I follow. You've probably seen the tweets because I've been getting a couple questions on it, like McElliott and who was it yesterday? I posted. The J.P. Morgan trade desk. They're looking. They say that. Well, they're not looking. They're pain trade, right? The max pain trade out there, if it reversed, according to McElliott and JPM, is short momentum, long beta, right? So what that means in simple English, all these names that Ron Cheryl's mentioning, the NVIDIA, the Tesla, all the names that 99% of you only care about, they underperform the overall market and the internals. That's basically what they're saying. And it makes sense, right? It's the thing I've been complaining about for months now, that you get outperformance from the real market, and some of these fat man, magnificent seven names underperform. That's the pain trade according to those guys. Yeah, does it reverse? Obviously, that's the $1 million question. But if it does, that would be the max pain trade, as they say out there. So we'll see how that goes. What else we got here?
This Ariston Networks, ANET is getting a nice pop here this morning.
Yeah, that's a good stock, that ANET. That's a good stock.
All right. We are live.
We open.
What about now?
A little bit better.
A little bit better? But it's still fucked up?
Yeah, you're very, very muffled. What about if you took the mic off and just talked through the computer? It'd probably sound better. It's probably your mic. That's what it sounds like.
Here's a low-level alert on NVIDIA. Lucci, you shorting this NVIDIA this morning?
PayPal looks like some put buying out of the gate. They report tomorrow after the bell. PYPL. Oh yeah, you got some NVIDIA put sweeps and weeklies off the open.
Some weeklies. We have 3 days left on those.
390,
What line, Jay? 400s?
395.
395. Oh yeah, I see them.
Oh, the picture. Keep forgetting to close this shit. That's why I'm better off not touching anything on the screen. Forget to undo it. Yeah, NVIDIA, you got 3-4 lines of puts there. Yeah, not crazy action, just right off the open.
Yep.
So now, is it that China news that we continue to hear about? Was there anything new? I didn't really look into
They're
it.
saying they might have to cancel 5 billion in orders.
Well, oh man, so there's some teeth to this one.
Yeah, that's a big number, but you never know if this is a by the news event or if it's real damage. You know what I mean? Did I lose you now too?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I was just rebooting my squawk here. That's why.
No worries.
You didn't lose me. Still around. Let me post some active lines here. I had one name to play off flow yesterday, and I botched it just because I was hesitant, but for good reason. I mean, who the hell wants to? I'm trying to be as picky as possible, but it was that overstock OSTK, which saw multiple sweeps off some insider buying. Everything else throughout the day, pretty much earnings related stuff. Nothing too impressive.
The state of Nevada releasing their gaming for November. Their gaming take statewide was up 1.6%. On this trip was up almost 7%. State of Nevada.
Got a fucking bird chirping right out my window now here. Between the landscape guys and birds, they try to drive me nuts. They're market hours only.
Are quotes frozen again?
Did they option quotes?
Somebody asked if Peter in the room.
Oh, geez.
Quotes are frozen again. Mine.
No, and I don't know if you guys saw. I posted something. Goldman just talking about liquidity, not Fed liquidity, liquidity in general being on the poor side. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with what we've been seeing, but. ExxonMobil weekly puts. Oh, those are in the money weekly puts. You got the Dow down 80, ES flat, NASDAQ, a little bit of weakness. Had a nice rally overnight, was down going into the Bank of Japan.
I'm taking some NVIDIA here.
Yeah, NVIDIA looks weak, down $11. What quotes? What quotes, Pete? From where? What are you looking at? I mean, nothing. I'm not seeing any issues with the CBOE, any other flow coming in. So, you got some more NVIDIA puts for 10 in the money weeklies. Yeah, so NVIDIA, you got the 400 weekly puts, 395 puts leading the way.
Yeah, 398.80 is a trigger on NVIDIA. So right in this area, we could see some more flush. It could get ugly on this thing too. It's got a long way to go if you want to come after it, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're talking about, a lot of things pretty much have washed out that AI hype, right? That post SIVB move, that big gap on NVIDIA. Tesla is working on that. The market already did. The NASDAQ, did the NASDAQ do it? I know. No, the NASDAQ really didn't completely do it yet either.
You got a gap fill at 394.72, which is about to fill.
Tesla, some funky looking put action in Tesla yesterday. Really strange. Almost like they were reporting earnings, out of the money spec puts.
Sounds like Lucci's still having audio trouble.
Yeah, McBob, the few semis that reported already. How about on? You saw that disaster yesterday or when?
What about this one? Why
No, it's still bad, Lucci.
Still bad.
So in back-to-back days, you had really bad reports coming out of the semis with Lattice and on semiconductors. They probably. What happened to Lucci? Still having issues?
Yeah, he's still having issues.
Yeah.
This NVIDIA is they're really coming after it here. I'm going to take some profits here. So that's $2,500 in just a few minutes.
Nice.
That's a good scalp. Probably has some more to go, but we're gonna stack. We're just gonna keep stacking profits here, and quote unquote build the account. So shut your mouth, trolls.
Yeah, trolls.
Okay, so there you go. There's the P&L up in the window. I'm going to look to short this again. I might look at a different strike here. Let's see.
Smart.
Thanks, guys. So if I'm looking for a bounce to reshort on the NVIDIA here, ideally I'd like to get it back up to the VWAP, but I don't know. I mean, that's an ideal situation. So let's see if I can find some more spots here on these. So here's yesterday's VWAP up here, this white line, today's VWAP right here, and then the gap from the open. So right around the same zone. So this 398.63, if we kind of get back up into this area, could be another area to look at another reshort. This is not a bad spot, but it's aggressive. And if I want to mark this current low, and TradingView is slow this morning. Come on.
NVIDIA, November 24th, 350 books.
350s? Okay.
November 24th.
So my choices right now kind of are to either wait for this to see if it gets a test, or if they take out these lows, then that's an aggressive add or a reshort at that level. But if they're coming for it, they're coming for it. Let me look at these 380s for this week.
7.
Just to roll out to a more lotto situation. So this is where they can trap, or they can just continue to flush out. You just got to be on your toes. If you're late to the trade, be very careful. So that entry on the first trade was 438, exit was 683. And you can see now they're trying to figure out what to do here. To me, still looks like it's nasty short.
Is this a biotech PDC? I think so.
When I'm scalping, I'm using this week's, because what I'm trying to do with these kinds of trades is simply thread a needle and catch a move like this, right? That's all I'm looking to do. So the weeklies suffice for it. It's not a, I don't need quote unquote time to let it play out. Okay, I'm going to try again here on this week's 380s. So we'll see if we can get some more juice out of this. Entries at 403. We'll see if they flush out, or if this is going to be a bounce spot, then I'll have to take it off and wait it out. But since I have some profit, I can noodle around in this and see if it's got more. I don't mind giving a little bit back, but I don't want to give too much back. But if this gives me the opportunity to try to be a little greedy here, and if I can get away with it, awesome. If I can't, that's okay too.
No, this thing's frozen on me. Let me see what the fuck. Oh, bitch. You got a little put action in Meta. What is it? VSAT, VSAT, Jan 25. That might be earnings though. Yep, 11.8.
Joseph, you are correct. So remember, this is I trade different time frames. So for example, I have a long position in Amazon. I have a long position in Costco, and you don't see me scalping those as often. I trade against the long-term position. So I have a combination of things that I use. All right, let's see if this doesn't hold here, I'm going to tap out of this NVIDIA. I'll give a little back. I'm okay with that. And we'll look and see if it comes up to that VWAP. Maybe it'll give us another.
Chicago PMI 44 versus 45 expectation for the Chicago PMI.
Yep, out. Okay, so we give a little back.
So the PMI came in a little light.
Chris, I don't disagree with you, but I'm looking for good entry. So now I'm looking to wait and see if this is going to get tagged. But I don't disagree that, to me, NVIDIA looks like a short.
Chicago PMI noting that prices pay moves at a slightly faster pace.
CCJ wailing off earnings. The uranium bull market lives on.
Tesla's at new high day. Okay. That might be, a move like this back up to where it was yesterday. That's yesterday's VWAP. So you get to move up to yesterday's VWAP, which is at what, 194.64. That might be an area to look to re-engage on shorts on Tesla. Let's put today's VWAP. So you got a little range. Let's see how SPY is doing overall. Okay, you're not even close to anywhere for the expected moves. And let's mark, SPY doesn't look great either. So that white line you see is yesterday's VWAP. There's today's VWAP. So look at, you're inside these two right now. It's trying to figure out what it wants to do. The more compression that you get of these areas of price, a move either above or below can be a violent move.
So not much of any call buying in the early going here. Sienna caught a bull bet.
How long have I been trading? Since 93.
Amazon, but that's light action there. You got some cheap SPY puts.
Right, I am being requested to deliver some coffee.
Where? To me?
No,
What?
you're not nearly as good looking as my wife. So
Son of a bitch. I need a coffee delivery person.
all
Go ahead, good.
right, I'll be right back.
All right. Let's see what that. By the way, yesterday, even with the decent rally, the call sweeper activity was putrid, and the credit markets didn't really confirm any major trend change. Not that anybody was expecting it, but it was more of a relief rally off oversold price action, and short-term sentiment pretty washed out as well. There was another. Oh, you know what else caught action yesterday? ISRG. That was the other one. Now there was a little put action mixed in with it. I threw that on the top bet list yesterday. Let's see OI changes there. Name doesn't catch a whole lot of action, that ISRG. But worth keeping an eye on the flow, especially if you're interested in the name. Anything on the momentum scanning yet? Oh, NVIDIA off the open. That's it. NVIDIA put side.
You're listening to Trade the News.
JetBlue put action. They reported this morning. JBLU December. Those are December 2025 $3 puts in JetBlue. These airlines doesn't get much uglier than these airlines, boy. My God. Just when you think they can't get any uglier, they get uglier. I mean, this is insanity. Some of these subsectors under the hood here. They'll get the big guys. They're always the last to go.
Reminder in about 10 minutes at the top of the hour, on the lookout for some more data. The U.S. Conference Board Consumer Confidence, Present Situation, and Expectations data will be out. At 10:30, we'll get the Dallas Fed Services Activity Index. So we're about 20 minutes into the trading session. Stocks remain in the red. The 10-year yield at 4.87%, about 7 basis points. 4.86%, about 6 basis points off the lows of the morning in the 10-year yield.
You got ETFs seeing a little more put action. The put sweeper activity, nothing too dramatic, but I think the lack of call buying making it stand out a little bit more. Well, they're closing those puts, it looks like.
ECB appointing Claudia Mann as Director of General Statistics. She will commence the role beginning on February 1st for the ECB.
What do the internals look like here? We got some economic data, right, coming up in 5 minutes. Let's see what the internals look like, just out of curiosity. Tape a bit sluggish. Manpower, let's see this one. Post earnings, MPWR couldn't roll though. December 430s. Mary, Peter, Walter, Robert. That's manpower. No, that's monolithic power. Manpower. So sexist. Could roll though. Microsoft, you got a little protection. Put sweep here in Sava. That's a crazy biotech name. At times can move nuts off FDA news. But if you realize, you see how this market works. Even while like everybody's glued to those so-called fat man names, right? If they're not trying to catch a long, they're weak for a couple of days to try to catch a short. Meanwhile, where's the easy short money been? Right? In everything else under the hood. You see what I mean? All the easy short side money has been in anything but the fat man names. But nobody cares about anything. They just care about these names. So they're going to get whipped around a bit. And now you got some QQQ weeklies getting some calls, getting some play. And you have the Fed tomorrow, Apple Thursday. So none of this has to be directional betting at all. Sector-wise, looks kind of blah. Semis down 1%. CCJ at the highs. Over 41. Off earnings, I think, right? Yeah.
You come right here, we're looking out for the Conference Board Consumer Confidence reading here at the top of the hour. Expectation is 100.5. That would be down from 103 previously. Natural gas futures extending gains here. Session highs up about 5% now at $3.52 for front-month natural gas. WTI crude futures are trading up about 0.2% coming off the early session low. Equity markets remain lower. Bond yields also remain lower, but we're off the highs of the days in terms of price. Lows of yield 4.85 in the US 10. $102.6 above the 100.5 expected. Present situation falling to 143.1 from 147.1. Expectations rising to 75.6 from 73.7 prior. Jobs hard to get index at 13.1 in October versus September of 14.2. Poland going to be holding a bond switching auction on November 15th. That's Poland.
So you got a beat over there, consumer confidence. Dollar at the highs. Was the dollar weak yesterday? Yeah, it did, right? So basically making up the ground that lost yesterday, the dollar.
Just note the two-day FOMC meeting has begun. We'll get a announcement tomorrow. The Fed is expected to leave rates unchanged.
Thanks for the inside information there, pal. I don't think we're going to get much change sentiment-wise here early on. Maybe a little softness. Financial conditions look like maybe a slight tightness, if that. So far, nothing major.
EPAM signing a strategic collaboration agreement with AWS to help organizations become cloud native. Echo Papa Alpha Michael.
So this NVIDIA is back up to its VWAP. Currently
VWAP
showing some signs of life. So we'll see if they come back to, this is the area that I want to keep an eye on. And if they come back to sell it again, could be another nice short. If not, you know, you got upside here, potential. Maybe you retrace the move.
Just note a few moments ago, we did see the ECB provide its weekly update under their holdings, including under the PEP program at 1.67 trillion.
Lucci, your JetBlue getting smashed.
Banks rose to 446 million, from 446 to 507 billion.
Oh my God, shut up.
What a debacle, this JetBlue. They're donezo, huh?
Are they donezo?
I mean, the stocks are going to be $2 before you know it.
You don't want to be on a JetBlue flight when it goes to fucking zero. So anyway, on the NVIDIA, so I've anchored off of the low here, and you've got your VWAP. So this is, and it also is the high of the day. So that's your spot right here. So above the line, if they squeeze it, you know, potentially, what do you look at for potential targets? Here's a little fib action for you. You're right now at the 618. The 50% retrace is right here at 398.74. If you start breaking back down, this could be another nice short. What would you look for target-wise on a fib? Well, you'd look for it to touch the low, and then, you know, maybe an extension down to 388.75. But it could be difficult from here to catch a move like we just did this morning. So you gotta have light touch.
Gold, yeah, I saw GLD. You got some action. I posted the sweep there.
I mean, GLD's been active for weeks now, right?
Yeah. Yep. The 1110 183s. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. I posted a sweep. There was a sweep. There's a couple sweeps there on that line. 3,500 total. Looks like a little out of the money. Cheap put selling there too in GLD. See if there's any change in sentiment off the early weakness. Shouldn't be much. DraftKings, what is that? Oh, Cross. Snap, again, some cheap action there. I don't know what they're trying to do over there, but Snap has been seeing some out of the money call buying. $0.21 they pay for those November 10.5s. NVIDIA weeklies, I think. Yep. More weekly puts there, NVIDIA.
Which ones did they hit?
These are 390s.
390s again. Okay.
They paid $5.99.
All right.
No problem, TP. Did you play the Raiders yesterday? I lost the money on the Raiders. God, they're so bad, the Raiders. You know, but when you're contrarian, you get end up betting a lot of bad teams, but they're miserable. The Raiders.
Where are we at on SPY? Still scrunching.
Save. Looks like somebody just sold a call spread. Or it could be just closing. Save. They reported? No, yeah, they reported already.
So this SPY is helping keep this NVIDIA from just falling off the edge of the earth. You got a little gap fill on it that dated back to June 13th. So it found a little shimmy there, but it doesn't look good.
Really, the official just saying at this point there's no hostage deal in sight. Comments from an Israeli official.
Little tick lower in the squeezometer, down to 0.46% bulls. Looks like FSR, that's an EV name, puts are active there. Frank, Sam, Robert. Is there anything left of that to short? For $4. That's $4 too much on that stock. More like maybe 40 cents. Well, it's on its way to 40 cents. I didn't see the game. Did they have the cover? God damn Raiders. I didn't watch the game. Bits and pieces. I saw they scored on an interception run back. Other than that. Oh, so they had a shot to cover that game, huh? Stupid bastards. What are you going to do? I'm cooling off in the ball games. I saw it coming. I felt it coming. Damn.
That kid for Detroit went nuts last night.
Which kid? Who?
Their running back.
Oh, the running back. Who the hell is that guy? I don't even know who he is. Where'd he come from?
He played at Alabama, but he hadn't.
What's his name? He played at Alabama. I don't remember him at Alabama. What the hell's his name? Do you know his name?
Yeah, I'll find it for you.
Oh, so he had a big game yesterday?
Huge game. I was winning my I was up by like 24 points in my fantasy game, and he went freaking nuts, and I lost.
No, they didn't lose.
No. I lost.
Oh! You have him on your team, you mean? I played
I played against somebody who.
You played against him and you lost. Got you. Jesus, I screwed it
slow
up in
down for
every
you. I'll slow
possible
down.
angle I could. That was
Jameer
like yesterday when I
Jameer
jumped down your throat over politics and war. You
Jameer
would say
Gibbs.
something completely
This guy-
different.
This guy's like a water bug. Jameer Gibbs. He's 5'9", 200 pounds. Played at Alabama. The dude
Gibbs?
ran
Wait, I think I know
downhill.
who that guy is.
He ran downhill all night. He just carved up the Raiders.
Well, I mean, they were playing the Raiders, for Christ's sake. You could carve up the Raiders, no? We'll put you back there, and you're good for a C note on the ground.
Stack it up.
Yeah, Jamar Gibbs. I know who he is. Then. Oh, I didn't remember. I didn't think he was the running back of the Lions this year. I mean, they got rid of the other guy. Went to Philly, right? Swift. By the way, my fantasy team. I got some holes though now. I'm undefeated. I haven't lost yet. I got a juggernaut.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but I got a little banged up. I filled some holes nicely. Now I could see a little losing streak coming, but at least I locked in a playoff spot.
I got my team is 3-5, but I have the most.
Oh, you got to battle back now.
Well, but hang on, I've got the most points in the league.
Oh, that's the most frustrating thing in the world.
Every team that I play, every week that I'm not kidding. Every team I play has like the best game of their entire season when they play me.
That's the head-to-head action. What are you gonna do? Head-to-head's fun though. You have to.
The five games that I lost were super close, and it was because the teams I played had literally had the best games.
Yeah. That's the work when you run into a buzzsaw every week. It's just not your year when that happens.
Exactly.
You can't do anything about it. Starbucks, what is that? Little in the money sweep for next week. They report, I'm sure, right? Yep, 11-2. Starbucks, a little earnings positioning here.
Lucci says he's trading scalping spy.
Spy what? Long, short, sideways, crooked.
Let me look at his screen. He's got Nvidia and pins in there right now. So I don't see his trades, but the positions I see right now, he's got some Nvidia. What are those? See, I can't tell just looking at this screen. It doesn't.
It's like braille on the screen that you gotta see.
I know.
By the way, the only halfway decent sweep of the morning, I wasn't even thinking about playing it or just that sweep, but Sienna, look at the rip on this thing this morning. What?
Oh, he's got Nvidia puts pins. See, I can't. When I look at this, I see DB3395 and then DB328.5. I'm like, that doesn't help me.
Where did you trade at Deutsche Bank?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it means. I don't use the same platform he does. If mine doesn't say
no, he's no, he's not at Fidel. He's at Centerpoint now, I think. I don't know. AMD, a little earnings call buying there. Let's see what's going on AMD today so far. AMD, you got some lines of calls seeing early volume pre-earnings. AMD.
Yeah, that pins position is looking good, Lucci. That's a nice rip on pins.
Pins, yeah, they had decent numbers, pins.
Yeah. But up here,
Matt in the room too, I think, is holding on to some of that long term. Matt at almost 30. Look at that bad boy. Pins.
Manage the trade.
CRM, talk of a deal with TikTok.
For what?
Salesforce. You still got it, right? It's a long-term position of yours, Matt, right? Pins? So you got some Salesforce chatter, CRM, of a deal with TikTok. Little A little bullish momentum in the name Salesforce CRM. Now it looks like a little Google call flow weeklies back and forth we go.
Should we do the Lucci? Let's do a little walk around the club.
Do a little walk around the club.
You guys see what you guys got. So Aaron calling out Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is a long-term position. So I have the leaps on Amazon. You can see this little mark right here. Current break even on the leap position is here. But what I've been doing is writing against it and playing short-term, long and short to try and get these leaps paid for. So this position is probably green. I need to go back and check, but my break even is probably right down around here at 132.25. So I like the move that Amazon has made back up. That helps. Yeah, Regeneron. So Regeneron, we've traded. I used to trade Regeneron. It's a tough trade. It's a very expensive stock. The options are illiquid, so you need time. But this is not if you're looking for a potential to bounce or to short, right there on the 200. This thing could flush out. You got a gap to fill down to 740.83 if this doesn't hold. Technicals look like shit on it. But biotechs are a whole animal to themselves. Plug, yikes, no thank you. CRM, yeah, I've had CRM is in the long-term portfolio and has been there for a very long time. Just continues right now to chop. That's interesting where it's at right now. I wouldn't mind looking at a condor on that, but you got earnings. Yeah, you might be able to get away with a condor on that. I'll look at that tomorrow and see. After the Fed, all things are neutral until after the Fed speaks.
You got a little VIX selling that's come in, helping keep equities bid.
Picture GLD.
Is that a hawk?
That sounds like a starling.
Really?
Yeah.
You heard him?
I heard him.
Sounds like he's screaming for help that guy.
Got some Google bulls here. Let's take a look at Google today.
Yeah, Google's seeing a little bit of play on the.
That's tough. They hurt this.
Yeah,
so you just got to trade this name for right now until the technicals line up better. You can't just jump right into this thing with time. It'll probably make you pay for it. Let's check on my Costco here. That's looking fine. So this is a lot. Amazon and Costco are my long-term leap positions.
Costco's been doing okay, right?
Yeah, Costco's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that pins. Lucci's in the pins. Does Wall Street Journal actually, does he trade or just talk about trading? Plenty of opportunity today. Tim is the ultimate troll. Matt,
Ellie, who cares?
Matt,
you think they give a rat's ass about Tim?
The next time he chirps, you mute this guy.
He could get hit by a bus tomorrow, and I couldn't crack a fucking tear. So what do I care about Tim? Let Tim yap away all he wants.
Netflix kind of still trying to figure out what it wants to be. Yeah, so JDV, I mean, I look at these things on big time frame, right? So here's how I would evaluate. I look at it, here's a weekly chart, right? This is most recent move down here, this low, May 13, all the way to this high. Now you've got earnings that are out. So can I adjust this shorter term? I probably can adjust this. This is a weekly view. And then this is the most recent high here. So if I think that this is going up, I want to reverse my fib, and then I want to look for areas. So check it out. Here's an area, 382, 398. That's a potential area of support, potential area of resistance. So far, trading inside this band of 414 83, 398.17. You had good earnings, a good guide. Things look positive. You have some technicals that are working for you. Check it out on a daily. Come in closer. You've got the 8 crossing over the 21, the 8 crossing over the 50. The stock is looking like it's consolidating a little bit here, so it is positive, and you probably need some time if you're looking for a move that's going to bring it back up, into this area of price. So it's got some proving to do. But on a day like today, if you want to take some risk at the 8 or the 50, not a bad place to enter, but below you've got to kind of get out of the way. All right, guys, we got about 10 minutes left before we move into the members only section. And all the stuff that we talk about, all these different indicators that we use, and inside the Steamroom itself, there's a host of different tools that we use besides just flow. We've got a momentum scanner. And coming soon, Norse is working on the strike tick. Am I saying that right, Norse? And that's basically when you hear programs firing off. Matt, take care of this guy for me. Mute.
Mute.
Thank you. Go be a troll somewhere else.
Fuck him. What are you worried about him?
Got over 100 years of trading experience in here. And Jesus is technically challenged to begin with. The fact that there's a P&L up in the window at all is a fucking miracle.
That's the truth right there. I can't even argue with.
And he tells you, he's told you guys multiple times, he's a long only trader, mostly trading equity, sometimes options. He does not short.
They don't want to hear that. They want to see me lose money to make themselves feel better about blowing up their account 10 times and they still can't fucking scratch their ass. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those are the type of characters you deal with.
Let's check out Tesla here real quick. You guys are calling out Tesla. I was looking at Tesla as a short, did not get to an area where it gave me the opportunity to short this morning, but let's take a look at this thing now. Yeah, it's making a nice move today. And technically, it's still, to me, it is still a short. So can they get it to an area that another more significant area that I would be interested in? Well, yesterday's VWAP, it has touched and faded off of. This might be another place to look. That's the year-to-date anchored volume weighted average price at 208, and then you got the 8 up here. That would be a pretty significant move. It did it all yesterday when it blew out, but I'm looking for any kind of pops here that maybe I'm going to be able to get a re-entry short. So if I just measure that candle from yesterday, what would be an area that I'd be interested in? 50% retrace. That brings it up to 202.71. That'd be an area I'd be interested in. So I'll just go ahead and mark it.
If I get a little boat flow. Oh, go ahead, Ron. Nothing important. Go. Oh, who's that? God? Who's that? Lucci, give it up. Take the day off today.
Matt, here you go. Max Payne, another troll.
PACB. That's I think that's a Kathy name. Got some out of the money Jan call activity there. Check open interest if you have an interest. Nothing that it really excites me. Jan 6 calls. This is Spec Biotech, right? It goes in, yeah, it's a $6 stock.
If they made money in this morning's PA, what is, first of all, what is PA? My P&L is up on the screen, guys. Lucci's up 27K this morning. P&Ls go up and they go down. They don't go just down. So Max Payne, eat a bag of you-know-what, and Usual Counterparty, same thing. You guys go snack on that bag together.
They want to reel you in, Ranchero. Don't you understand? Have you been on social media? You don't even entertain these guys. They're jabronis. They fucking pick their ass for a living.
You're misunderstood, buddy. Yeah, okay. All right, Matt.
SoFi reported, not that I care, but what did it do yesterday? They're still losing money, right? Yep. Yeah, I don't see much of anything too interested, obviously, on the call side. Put side, it was a bit aggressive out of the gate. Now, kind of, as Lucci would say, meh.
All right, here we go. Here's the Lucci reshorting the NVIDIA here.
Lucci reshorted NVIDIA. Well, you had a decent bump up there. Let me see.
Not bad. 50% retrace of the move. The other thing that you could
I see.
include the gap is to bring it up here.
Yeah. That's why Lucci knows what he's doing with these shorts. So you got to do that exactly how you portray it, right? You can't fucking shorten the hole there. They eat you up.
Right. You got to wait it out.
Takes a lot of patience that I don't have, that I lack significantly. MDT.
I do like that reshort right there, though.
It's not a bad order here. They report the 21st of Medtronic long-term bet. I think that name got beat up.
It's pretty beat up.
Yeah. So something to keep an eye on if you're interested longer term in buying blood. You know the name, Montero? Oh, no.
Yeah, I do know Medtronic. I mean, that's a, they started as a,
right?
I mean, they built their business off of the original pacemaker, right?
Yeah, pacemaker. Yeah.
And they've evolved into other things. And I think that this recent beatdown is because of the fat trade, the Ozempic trade.
Yeah. And it was beat down prior, and I can't believe they hit it even harder here now. The stock is down from like 130, 120, 130 to 70.
Yep.
And there's a legit name, right? They're not profitable.
Listen, I like the idea because I think it is a good company. But again, I think you need, if you're going to do that longer term, you just got to wait for the technicals to catch up. You can go early. You just take risk that you might not have to take, right?
Right.
Because you're fighting through technicals. And then when do they have?
That's the problem. There's no rush in this at all.
Tuesday, November 21st.
Yep.
So you got to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think it's beat up, maybe unnecessarily so, but you don't know until they give you earnings and comment on all of it, right?
Yeah. The earnings widely watched this quarter to see if that shit had an impact on them at all. The weekly, you're down to some big time support, but that takes ages. Like you said, you could be stuck in a web for a generation.
Dallas Fed, general business activity at minus 18.2 versus minus 8.6 prior. Input prices were down slightly to negative 37, to positive 37.3. Selling prices were also down slightly to 9.5.
Oh man, you see SRPT? I saw the news in the aftermarket. I didn't realize the tattooing it caught today. Woo!
Oh my God, that's brutal.
That data, I think they had, right? I saw it in the aftermarket. I saw people oohing and on off that
They
data.
they don't even have numbers out yet. They're tomorrow.
Yeah, this was data on a drug or some shit. That was it. I think the people were expecting it, but weren't thinking it was going to be a travesty like this. I mean, between earnings and all that, there are a lot of landmines out there. You know, a lot of landmines out there. And I got Tim, Pim, Jim troll over there. Tell me, do I trade? Right? He wants me to step on any landmine to get for shits and giggles, so he gets a kick out of it. A little piker. Buy some SRPT before the data, Mr. Tim.